Okay, welcome to all things hamstrings. Some of the postures will be in order to lengthen the hamstrings. Some of them will be to strengthen the hamstrings. Ideally, both are happening simultaneously. And I think it would be helpful to have a bolster or a few blankets nearby, because the work that we'll do today will really be supported by that prop if you've got that available to you. All right? So why don't we begin in child's pose, actually. Just resting the belly down over the thighs, and the forehead comes to the mat or to a block. And feeling into the body, noticing how it is feeling today, regardless of what time it is that you're practicing. And noticing the breath too. And when we rise up onto hands and knees, the fingers are spread wide apart. We'll have the knees under the hips. Let's take the left leg back, tuck your left toes under, and gently push back through your left heel. And right here you can feel how, well, try this for a moment. Move the pubic bone toward the coccyx, and then draw the coccyx toward the pubic bone. And you can see for yourself where you've got more access to your back leg, where it feels stronger. So go right there. Just opening up the back of the Achilles tendon a little bit. And then set left knee down, and let's switch sides. I like to massage the breath along the back of the leg. We'll try that again, where pubic bone moves toward coccyx, and then coccyx moves toward pubic bone, and check that out. I'm hoping you feel what I feel. More activation. Good. And then we'll return. Let's tuck the toes under. Send the hips up and back. Let's have the knees bent first. Come up onto the balls of the feet so we can open up the soles of the feet. Externally rotate your upper arm bones. So it feels like the shoulder blades are almost trying to hug the front of the body. They're moving around the sides toward the sternum. It's an exaggeration, but you get the idea. We'll all inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Good. And then look beyond your hands and step forward between your hands. Inhale, let's lengthen. And exhale, fold. Grasp big toes with middle and index fingers. Inhale. Exhale, folding. Now, knees could very well be bent here. In fact, we'd really like to have the rib cage against the front of the thighs. Let the head and neck just hang. The elbows go wide and the shoulders move away from the ears. Think about the fabric running along the back body from the arches all the way up the back of the legs, over the hips, down the back. And then inhale, lengthen. Exhale, move coccyx toward pubic bone as you round your way up. Okay? Send the arms all the way up. Good. And then from here, take your legs together. Become like a blade of grass. Inhale. Exhale, extending to one side, just opening up the other side. We purposely go in, seeing how much we can feel and sense inside. Coming to the other side now. Good. Then inhale, we rise up. Exhale, release the arms long. Let's draw the palms together at the heart. We'll open our practice. It's official. We'll open the practice with an Om if you wish. Inhale. Om. Good. So let's do a few salutations just to warm up the body. We'll take the arms up, inhale, reach up. Exhale, folding forward, out and down. Knees can be bent, and then inhale, lengthen. Exhale, palms down, and step back. Pause in plank, push back through your heels and draw your lower ribs inward. Inhale, exhale, knees down, torso down, the whole body down. Point your toes back, inhale. Press the legs into the ground. Exhale, slowly lower. Again, inhale, barely use your hands. Exhale, slowly lower. And one more time, inhale, lift up. Exhale, slowly lower. Tuck toes under, shift hips back over heels, and draw the chest toward the ground any amount here. Walk the hands forward. Some of you will be able to lay the chest down on the ground. Many of us are just opening along the armpits, the front ribs. We might place the forehead down on the ground, but draw the palms together, bend the elbows, draw the thumbs toward the upper back. As if we could lengthen the triceps by pulling the hips up and back. Good, then we release the hands to the floor. Come to downward facing dog, please. Good, knees can straighten. You can straighten the legs if you can straighten the legs without compromising your spine. So the spine is quite long. Good, strong legs, inhale. Exhale, bend your knees, look past your hands, step or float forward between the hands. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, fold, release. And then push the ground away, slowly rise all the way up. Palms might touch at the top. Exhale, release your arms. Okay, let's do another variation of a salutation. This time we'll inhale, send arms up, and exhale, fold forward. Now let's take the left leg back and place the knee on the floor here. All right, we'll take the hands to the thigh. Let the hip flexors wake up a little bit, feeling along the front of the top of left leg and into the bottom of the abdomen, yeah? And we might send the arms up, see how it feels for you. The arms could be in cactus, or we can extend them up. Good, and then releasing the hands to the floor, tuck your left toes under, sweep your right leg back, meet in downward dog, or take a vinyasa if you wish. Knees, chest, chin, or slowly lowering. Setting ourselves back in the dog. Inhale, exhale, bend your knees, look past your hands, and step forward, inhaling. Exhale, let go. And inhale, push ground away, rising all the way up. Palms might touch. And we'll fold forward, out, and down right here. And we'll take the right leg back behind us now. The knee comes to the floor. Could let yourself just sink in. Hands might come to the thigh. You can feel the right glutes. You can feel that the right glutes, they're contracting a little bit as we make our way in. Those of us who sit a lot definitely can appreciate this posture. The arms might extend out to the side or upward. And then gradually take the hands now to the ground. Sweep leg back behind you, meet in downward dog, or move through the wave of vinyasa. And we inhale, exhale, bend knees, look past hands, and step or float forward between the hands. Inhale, we lengthen. Exhale, fold, and this time separate your feet so they're hip width apart. Slide your hands in underneath your feet so the toes come to the wrist creases. Knees can be bent here. We inhale, lengthen, and exhale, fold. And feel the feet just kind of stamp into the hands and pull the shoulder blades up away from the ears. So I always think of this as hanging, a little bit of hanging like a bat. Feel the breath circulate through the body. Couple more breaths. And we'll inhale, lengthen. Exhale, release. Good. Place your hands on your hips. Slowly we rise back up. Coming all the way up to mountain pose. So from here, we take the arms up and we fold forward. We inhale, lengthen. Exhale, step or float back, lowering through, or knees and torso down. Inhale, we open. Exhale, back. Sweep right leg up and back, but we'll keep the hip points level. Come up onto the ball of the left foot, and we'll play with where will that right leg go. But like I said, we want to keep the hip points level, so that means the tendency to roll the right hip out and open. Please resist that tendency. Inhale. Exhale, then thigh in close to ribs and land your foot lightly. And we'll come all the way up into a high lunge. When we sink in, we draw the ribs in close. This is such an interesting posture because we could easily fan out like this, but we want to come in close because you can feel how that opens up in here. We care about opening up in here quite a bit. We'll send the arms up, sinking in however much, waking up the back leg, and fill the whole body in space. Now we'll release the arms beside us. We'll turn the palms back, and we'll place the belly down on the thighs. And we'll send the left leg behind us into warrior three. Steadying ourselves here, right big toe roots. And we'll slowly rise up. And we're coming to tree pose. Bring the knee in close. And then place your foot anywhere along the inside of the leg. Rooting the right foot to the floor, send the arms upward. Good, inhale, exhale, palms come back to prayer position as the left leg searches for the floor behind you, coming back to the lunge. Inhale, exhale, now the left hand comes to the floor. And we have several choices here. We can roll, keeping the sole down, just roll onto the outer edge of the left foot, or we can bring the left knee to the floor. Or we can take the right leg back behind us, coming into Vasisthasana. Reaching up through the hand. And then slowly lowering the right hand to the floor. And taking a vinyasa if you wish. And back to downward facing dog. And feeling the breath. Strong legs. In fact, every time we come into dog, we look to see, well, can we make a little more space along the spine? Press your hands and your feet away from each other. And sweep left leg up and back, hips are level. Come up onto the ball of the right foot. Good hunt for the sky with your left leg. Inhale, exhale, thigh to rib cage, and the foot lands. Strong back leg. Up we come. Sinking in. Now we notice sensation. So interesting, this practice, noticing sensation without attaching ourselves to sensation or pulling away from sensation. Can we just hang with it? Obviously, if it becomes too much, then we make an adjustment. But a lot of times, we're learning how to be comfortable with a little bit of discomfort. And we take the arms back, palms turn back, place the navel down, belly down on the thigh, and extending forward, lifting right leg up and back, establishing a gaze, strong back leg, strong front leg too. And then inhale, we rise all the way up, sweep the right knee forward, attach the foot anywhere along that leg, send the arms up when you're ready, pelvis is level. And inhale, draw the palms now down to your heart. Sweep the right leg way back behind you, coming back into the lunge. Got that? And then hands come, or right hand comes to the floor. Now this is interesting transition to the outer right foot, or right knee down, and take left leg back. Reaching up. Good, hug midline. So we're using a lot here, but at the same time, there's a certain level of relaxation. And slowly, hand comes back to floor. We lower through, or we meet in downward facing dog. Strong legs. Good, inhale. Exhale, bend your knees, look past your hands and step or float forward. Inhale, we lengthen. Exhale, fold. Okay, so this time, take your feet hip width apart, interlace your fingers behind your back, draw your blades together, inhale. Exhale, folding in, and let the head and neck completely relax downward. Drawing blades together. Notice your feet, there's still a little bit of lift in your inner arches. Your toes are not gripping. The weight is even from heels to toes. Inhale, exhale. Now place your hands down on the floor and bend your knees. And we're going to come down to a seat for a moment. Taking danda or staff pose. So we widen the toes and we wake up the legs from the heels upward. And we remember this image that I happen to be a little bit attached to right now. The spine being like a stack of gold coins. You may find that you cannot lengthen the spine here. The knees need to be bent, in which case it's a great opportunity to place a bolster or blanket underneath the sit bones. So first we'll go for this variation, which is much like mountain, seated mountain. Back in the old days, I have old days stories now. So back in the old days when I started practicing in the 70s, the legs in forward folds, they were relaxed all of the time. They were not activated, and this ends up causing some issues. So we do want strong, stable legs. And as we fold forward, we inhale, exhale, we set the belly down over the thighs. So bend your knees a little bit, and then push out through the heels. Keep the legs active and fold. Good. And that means this is one pose where I remember being like this actually, where folks will not be able to bring their belly to their thighs, but they still are striving to come down because they think that that's the goal. But no, let's keep this connected no matter what, no matter how far we go. Good. Take a look at your feet. Just notice what's happening out there. They are usually the first things to go to sleep. Okay, and then slowly we rise up. And I want to take care of our back for a moment. Let's come all the way down onto the back. Draw the knees into the chest. And we'll approach this from another angle. So take your legs up, reach through your heels. Again, knees bent, totally fine. Place thighs on the belly. Push out through your heels any amount. But keep your tailbone down on the ground. I'm hoping you feel something, especially in here. This is very often the case here will be that people will avoid the feet, because if you just let the feet go flaccid, you can feel there's nothing happening here. So reach through inner and outer. And then some of you could just lay your legs down over your torso, but we'll play this game called Keep the Tailbone on the Ground. So go where you can do that. And then slowly come back up, and we'll cross right ankle over left thigh. We'll take the figure 4 variation where we bend the left knee first. Interlace behind your thigh or in front of your shin. Keep your right foot flexed. And notice the sensations that we feel. You know, noticing sensation and including sensation is one way of being able to notice thought and include thought. And eventually notice emotion and include emotion. So we're not just like a pool ball on a table in our lives. We notice and then we begin to develop discernment over time. Which thoughts, which emotions to act on, and which can we just let pass. Some of you might straighten left leg. Again, keep the tailbone down. There's another variation here where you could take the bolster. If you find that your pelvis is flying up, take the bolster and then sit down on the bolster back there. So the bolster's just at the edge. Okay, let's switch sides now. Crossing. Try to do that without using the arms. Then reaching through. Then feeling in. Every day is different. Noticing the breath. Can the breath travel easily through all the places in the body? We feel a subtle emanation, expansion of the breath and release of the breath. Is there anywhere holding on that really doesn't need to hold on? All of these things matter, you know? Especially if we get into stressful situations, and sometimes our whole body's just so tense when it's not necessary. We can relax, just let go a little bit. And then maybe straighten if you wish. Keeping pelvis heavy, reaching through inner and outer heel. Okay. So we inhale, exhale, unwind that and cross your ankles, and we'll just roll a couple times. Coming back to downward facing dog. Coming back the way that we do. We inhale, exhale, knees bend, look past the hands, and step or float forward. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, release. And then rising all the way up. Palms touch, maybe. Exhale, release the arms. Okay, so I wanted to go onto the back first so we can do this work. This standing work where we cross left ankle over right thigh. And we sink, 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 sink. Some of us will have the hands on blocks underneath the shoulders. Some of us might straighten the leg, and the choice is yours to make. And notice what sensations can you live with. Some of you might even come down onto the ball of the right foot. Some of you could set a block underneath the knee and play with the balance here, drawing navel to spine. Some of you may not use the block at all, balancing independently from the block. Hands come back, down, slowly. Rise back up, bend your knee. Feel your coccyx heavy, extending up all the way. And chair pose on the other side. Sinking, crossing. Potentially folding. So lots of choices can be made here. And it needs to be that way because we're all so different in this posture. Folding forward. Good. Some of you will bend the knee because that's where the work is. Some of you will come down. Place the block underneath the shin. So the body wants to get really heavy. You've still got that lift. The gold coins, remember them? Good. Or move block away and play with balance. And I do mean play. Good, then hands back to the blocks, rising back up. Bend your knee. Good, pelvic floor lifts, coming all the way up and releasing. So this is the point where it would be helpful to have your bolster now. And we'll place the bolster about a third of the way. Let's hop over the bolster. And we'll take the arms up, inhale, exhale, folding. And root your right foot, take your left leg back behind you, coming down so that the front of the thigh is right up against the front of the bolster. This should look familiar. Put the front of your left foot back down on the ground, and you could potentially draw your forearms to the ground or your hands to the ground. We're going to sink in and let the right knee roll out to the side. You could come onto the outer edge of the right foot. the left leg get heavy. Yeah. And then we become malleable, like, I don't know, like Play-Doh. And then hands come up, and we'll take it back behind us. So now the shin rests on the bolster. The hip creases go deep, and we fold toward the right pinky toe, any amount. And this is where the right heel and the left knee pull in toward each other as we fold. Good, so this may be okay, and okay means you're interested in taking this a little further, in which case the right heel extends out, and we've got the bolster to catch us for this variation of Hanumanasana. So the right sit bone is on the bolster, the left leg reaches back, tempting to lift the left hip up. Let's not go there. That means hip points are still pretty level. Now, you should be able to dwell here with, I wouldn't say comfort, but some level of ease. Some of you will fold forward over the pinky toe. Dropping into the left thigh. The left thigh gets heavy. And you feel how your legs are pulling into midline. Okay, so we've got to find a graceful way of coming out of this. Here's what I suggest. Roll to the right hip. Good, then bend the right knee. And now it looks like pigeon, doesn't it? So then roll right back in. And we could stay upright, hands to the bolster, lifting the chest. Or we can fold forward and again, make it your own. You can feel the breath and its effect on the body, just opening gradually from the inside out. Even now, the legs move in toward midline a little bit. One of the reasons it's nice to have the bolster, especially in pigeon, well, certainly in Hanumanasana too, but in pigeon, it means that we can draw the legs in, potentially bend the knee, reach back for the foot. And there's many variations we can take here, but it's a little bit more honest because we're able to keep the hip points relatively level. Well, take a variation that works for you today. Every day is so different. Good, and then let's find our way out of that, shall we? Hands down, lifting right leg, downward facing dog. Strong legs. Good, and then just walk forward to the front of the mat, and we'll come all the way up. And we'll begin again. So now we'll take right leg back. Good, knee comes to the floor. Sinking in here. And place right front thigh right up against the bolster. It gives you just a little bit of support. Good, growing, lifting chest. How deeply can we root the right leg downward? And then releasing the hands, and take the weight back now so your left calf is against the bolster. This is nice for those of us who are hypermobile. You have this like a stop here so that you don't go too far with the knee. And then folding in. Go toward pinky toe side. So think right kidney, right at the end of your rib cage, right around here, moves toward the inner left knee. Good, strong legs. Even still, strong legs. And then those of you who wish to go on, take the leg out in front of you. And the real work here is, well, you could take your right hand back to the inside thigh, pull up, because that will internally spiral the right femur bone, which is helpful. Good. And the arms could extend. Or we fold over pinky toe side. Remember the cardinal rule, keeping it kind, whatever choice we make. Sinking the right thigh. And then we'll roll onto left hip, bend left knee. Hopefully you're set up here for pigeon pose. Again, right hand can come back to inner thigh, pull upward, make a choice. So if you feel as though you inherently collapse a little bit in the chest, then use this opportunity to extend chest upward. If you feel as though you really want to just rest, then head downward. Don't skip any sensations on the way. Meet them. It's like touching them, right? Include what you find. Good, you could stay there or play by lifting sternum up and hand comes to inside foot, maybe pulling back, maybe foot draws in to elbow crease. Good, wherever we are, we release slowly out of it. And right toes down, sweep left leg up and back, stabilize spine. Have I said strong legs yet again today? Good, kneecaps lift, pelvis like a cloud. Good, and then we'll slowly come down to a seat. Move your bolster out of the way. All right. One more hamstring exploration. Draw the thighs in close. Wrap the arms around the legs. And we're balancing on our sit bones, yeah? Feel how long the spine can be. And you want to be as forward on the sit bones as you can be. And take the hands behind the thighs. Push legs up, walk hands up. Push through the balls of the feet. Sink the shoulder blades. Reaching upward. Navel to spine. That really matters, like you're bearing gold treasure. Okay, slowly release, bring the feet down. We'll come down, we'll roll down onto our back, but have a block handy. So a lot of work along the back line. Let's do a little work with the front line, slide the block in underneath, any height you wish, right under the tailbone. And if it works for you to interlace your fingers around the block, please do. The arms get heavy into the floor. And some of you might decide you could straighten the legs as the sternum draws toward the chin, but the face stays flush. Flush with your ceiling. And just use the inhale, making space. Good. You could stay here or take full bridge, lifting up off the block. Arms can grab the outside of the mat or interlace your fingers once again. Pressing arm bones, pressing feet. And from here, if you wish to go on, bend your elbows. Take your hands now beneath the shoulders and coming lightly onto the top of the head. Opening the chest, pushing the feet, pushing the hands. So buoyant in a whole new way. Strong back body, yeah? Some of you might straighten the legs. Watching the breath, feeling what's here. And slowly coming down. Let's bring the soles of the feet together, the knees go wide. Close the eyes for a moment. Just notice the flush of sensation, a flurry. Feeling the heartbeat. Such good news. Let's take the arms out like cactus now. Bring the knees in close and cross right leg over left. Put the sole of your left foot down and then just gradually roll over to the right, and the gaze goes to the left. I like to push the ball of my left foot into the ground as if I could extend my left femur bone away. Draw navel to spine and come back up. Rewinding on the other side. Good. Okay. Let's inhale, come back up. And lay the body down, arms beside us. Turning the palms open. And feel the support of the ground now. From feet to the top of the head. And out, down the arms and into the hands. Just give ourselves to the ground. Allow the cheeks to widen. The eye creases to widen away from each other. Maybe the corners of the mouth also widen away. Making space around the eyes. Making space in the inner ear. Relaxing jaw and tongue. Softening throat. Feeling around the chest area, the natural warmth that exudes from the chest. It's nothing we have to try to generate, it's already here. Just feeling into that warmth. Some of you might choose to remain here, or you might choose to come up and out, drawing the navel into the spine. Let's give ourselves a hug first. Rolling to one side, resting the head on the arm. Dedicating the merit, which means offering away anything we may have received that was beneficial in our practice today. And slowly we make our way up. Okay, feel the sit bones, and then we go stacking the spine. Let's say we were going to go to meditation right now. You can feel all this work that we've done. Really, it's in service of lengthening the spine so that we can sit comfortably, physically and also mentally and emotionally, sitting comfortably within ourselves, comfortable in our own skin. Let's draw the palms together. Join me in one Om if you'd like. Inhale. Om. Let's bring the hands to the forehead, right thought. May we be steady and present and joyful. Hands come to the mouth, right speech. May our words improve upon the silence. And our hands come to our heart, right action. May we be the change that we wish to see. Namaste.